guys? How's everybody doing? Welcome back to my podcast. It's my second episode. I got a very special guest here today, and it's gonna be fun. Hope everybody stays tuned and listen because we got a great episode today. Today we have three brothers, Yang brothers from here, hometown Michigan, and these guys been phenomenal. They're good friends of mine. We played against each other growing up, played with each other, and now I coached them. And I decided I wanted to bring them on and talk a little basketball, see how they doing. So stay tuned, guys. Hey, man, how you guys doing, man? How are you guys doing? It's been a while.
Good, man. Good. How are you?
Yeah,
Absolutely fantastic.
Living, breathing, bro.
yeah.
So, can't complain, man.
Staying away from the cold or what?
Hey, trying to, but we Michiganders, man. We stay in the cold.
I know.
I just recovered
Oh yeah.
from having the cold, yeah. So trying to stay away.
Okay. Well, stay
Yep.
healthy. Stay healthy. We don't need nobody getting sick. You know what I'm saying? Because it's been a couple of years with this pandemic, so we want everybody to stay
Yeah.
healthy. But why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourself, man? I think the people wants to know, the listener wants to know. So introduce yourself.
I guess I'll go first, man. I'm Winter. It's my birth given name. I'm the oldest.
My name is Power. I'm the second brother, and yep, I am the shooting guard of the team. But
Get right straight to
that's
it.
yeah, that's just yeah. And by the way, your name still says Robobot. By the way, Winner.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, you're good.
that's
Yeah.
my Google account, man. I
Oh,
don't even know how
okay.
to change it, bro. I'm so outdated.
Hey, don't worry about it. Don't worry
Yeah,
about it.
and I'm leader. I'm the youngest brother, and I'm junkyard dog. That's what's up, man.
Hey,
There you go.
okay. Now let me ask you guys this, man. I've been wanting to ask you guys this for a very, very long time. I never bother to even ask. I know we see each other quite often, but how did your dad come up with your names? I mean, we got Winner, we got Power, we got Leader, and I feel like as a coach to you guys, right? Like I feel like the name really like match you guys. It contributes a lot. Winner. I mean, did you guys ever ask your dad, like, "Hey, Dad, why'd you guys call it? Why'd you name us this?"
Oh yeah, man. All the time, man. Um, Funny story, man. Nobody really knows this, but before my father named me Winter, legit, he was trying to name me God.
Oh,
Like, yeah,
okay.
bro. Hey, like my pops had high hopes for us, man. And so like he legit was trying to name me God, but in Hmong, right? So
Okay.
the name was Chundu.
Okay.
And
Okay.
but like my mom's side of the family, they go to church, right? So they're like, no, you can't do that, man. Like you can't name him after the Lord. Like that's blasphemy. So they toned it down, and I guess the next best thing was Winter. But I'm assuming my father named me Winter because I got a cousin named Victor, who's like roughly a little under a year, over a year older than me, and so I'm just assuming like my dad and his brother, they kind of just figured they'd try to give us the biggest names with the biggest goals for us, man. They set the bar high for sure. So
Oh, that makes a lot of sense, man. Because we're talking about your Victor cousin that lives in Minnesota, correct?
yeah, in the twin,
Okay.
right?
Okay. What about you, Power, man? I feel like
Man,
man, your name. I mean, Power. I mean
I
the just the emotion that comes out of you. How much you take things seriously, especially when you step on the basketball court. I'm like, Power, man. I mean, that's a strong name. I mean, how do you feel about your dad naming you Power? I mean, what's it like being a Power?
it's I mean honestly, it's been pretty dang cool throughout my whole life. But just being named Power, I think everyone it's just a big like a gravitational pull. But at the very same time, it's a lot to take on just because it's kind of like it sets an expectation. But to be honest, I don't know how they came up with the name Power. I think I've asked that before because I actually had a school project before back when I was in elementary, and I had to figure out why they called me power, and I went to go ask my parents so that I could pass the class or pass the project, and neither of them had an answer that was like that they could like recall. So I was just pretty much like, I came back and I just told my teacher. She was like, all right, whatever. She just passed it. So that's how it's always. But I would have to probably recollect and go with what Winner was saying, because I mean, that's the only thing that would make sense, is that it would have to, relate to, obviously follow the names of Victor, Winner, I don't know, and such and so on, so they probably were just expecting big things. But nonetheless, I think it helped cultivate like myself, and I'm sure it did as well for like Leader and Winner as well. So that's
Yeah,
what I would have to say for that.
I mean, absolutely, man. Before I get to Leader, the one thing that I see that you guys established very well is not just the name that you guys have. I think it's well known. I think anybody who knows you guys personally, I think nobody can't question you guys, because the name fits you guys so dang well, man. And I never question you guys. Even the days back in the days when we used to hoop against each other, right? We're talking about Howardell days. We're talking about the late
Yeah,
90s,
yeah.
right? The late
Mhm.
90s. And it's a lot of these young guys are like, Howardell, what the hell is Howardell, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I mean, when I first met all three of you guys, and by all means, when I first met you guys, of course, I didn't know you guys as brothers until later on, right? But man, just seeing you guys go into their name and stuff like that, whether it was basketball or just outside of basketball, you guys hold your name to a really great value, and I really appreciate that as a friend, man, because you know, uh, it's just been
Thank you.
a great ride, man. But Leader, man, you the little brother of the family, correct?
Yes, sir.
Not little.
Man, you have, nothing against your brothers. I feel like you have one of the most humblest heart ever, man. Playing basketball, coaching you, the way how phenomenal you are with your the integrity of being a leader on a team, man. I'm not saying that Power and Winner can't be a leader on the team, and you guys are a leader, but you, man, for some reason, you're like the little big brother. That's how I see it. And explain a little bit about yourself, because your dad gave you that name, Leader, man. Is that as a younger brother too? Is there any peer pressure, or do you feel any type of way like, dang, I gotta make sure that I take care of myself and my name, because my dad named me for this reason. So, how is it? How is it like, Leader?
Right, yeah. Having the name Leader comes with big responsibility. I mean, I have to live up to the name. I mean, whether through work or life, through team. Obviously, I'm the youngest brother, so with our three names, I feel like we're all synonymous with each other's names too, because Winner being the oldest, us all being winners. Power. Obviously, we all have that might. So me being the biggest of the three, you know, sometimes we could flip our names around back and forth and
And
somewhat, right? It doesn't matter.
and by big, he just means thick, right?
Thickness.
Just
But
thick.
Dick.
but yeah, I mean, me being the youngest brother, I forgot my train of thought. um,
Take your time, man. We here. We got about an hour. I don't have a watch on, but we got about an hour. Go ahead,
yeah.
man.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably say I'm the least talented of the three of us. So I think that's where like my hard work comes in, and I gotta work
Mhm.
double, than these guys do. I mean, clearly Power's the most gifted, um, but and then Winner's super
I
talented.
had to work for mine too, though.
Yeah, but I, you get what I'm saying though. Like,
No, I'm
so
not gonna.
my
Go ahead, man.
characteristics and my traits come from those,
Yeah.
from my obviously through my path, and so like I got to work through my ways to get up to reach up to their level. So yeah, that I guess all those characteristics came from
Well,
the way
now
I
that
see
we're
things.
kind of on this topic here, when I remember, so I met Winter first before I met both of you guys.
Yeah.
I know that all you guys played. Of course, Leader, you was a little bit younger. I think I remember the first time I met you or even saw you. You were just like a little skinny, scrawny guy. I don't even think. I think you was bald, right? If I'm right, back in the
Yeah.
'90s.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, you
Short
know,
hair. Yeah.
being a little brother, man, was there any expectation, like high expectation, like, okay, my brother Winter is gifted, man. He's a really good, talented basketball player, has a lot of heart. Then you got Power, who's very flashy, can score. Anybody runs their mouth, I mean, he's putting it on them. I mean, what's the expectation like, man? Having two older brothers that, I mean, are the highlight, they're the highlights. And did you feel like you had to prove anything?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like that's what like kept me working because Power's just a year and a half older than I am, but in school he's a grade school higher. And so, going into high school, we both played high school ball, and Power's freshman year, he was looked at as a very good player already. And he's an Asian kid at about 5'6", maybe, if that, in freshman. And, he makes it to the JV team. Like, you don't really hear that. If you're a phenom, you make it to varsity your freshman year, and that's, obviously really great players. But with Power making to the JV squad, that was very impressive. And so, like, me coming up the next year, those expectations were set for me too. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
people already know who my brothers were through high school. So,
Okay.
I had to live up to that and try to, live by that
See,
name. Yeah. So,
I mean,
you know, you B, let me interject. You want to know what's funny is though, like, cause I never played organized sports, right?
okay.
I mean, I picked up basketball like legit in sixth grade, and so like I started late. And I remember being like not even picked in a game of 21, bro. Like I couldn't even play. But I didn't join the school team until my junior year.
Okay.
So I finally decided, you know what, man, I'm a junior. Let me give it a shot. And that year, our varsity team was really good. Like, I forget which division we had. I don't even remember. Like, but they were really good. I forget what it is, like blue or something. But it was supposed to be really good. We had a couple of All Americans on the team a couple years previous to that. So like our school actually had a real legit team, and we had Swafford and Smoke and all them guys play. So varsity was very stacked. They wouldn't even let me try out for varsity. The
Okay.
varsity coach was like, dude, you're a junior, so you're supposed to try out for varsity, but we've got no room for you.
Right.
So if you want to play, you got to try for JV. So I was the oldest dude on junior
Yeah.
varsity
Yeah.
because, this is my first year. So I started late. And then obviously, my brothers, they all came up and did much better than me,
Now,
obviously.
did all three of you guys go to the same high school, middle school?
same
Same
high
high
school. Yeah.
school.
High school, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now going to Power, you obviously played. Did you play varsity or did you just?
No, I didn't. I didn't play varsity at all.
Okay.
I had the chance. I had the chance to play varsity, because I really like. I wish I would have did those years back because I would have really pushed myself harder.
Right.
But being I think I had a big part that had to deal with just obviously school academics. So that took a big role and attention out of my sports because my mom especially wanted me to do good in school. So she disliked the fact that I played basketball. I think that any one of us played basketball actually. Meanwhile, my dad would support us in ways where he'd show up to my games and whatnot. But a big part that I wanted to add to Leader's thing was that, like, yeah, I got to play junior varsity, started point guard for my freshman year. But the big thing was that I actually could have played varsity my freshman year, and I could have backed up third string or something like that. But I didn't go to the summer practices, and it was actually, I remember it was because I was out having fun when I was in 8th grade, right? So it was the end of our last day in 8th grade, and I was outside. We were just me and my buddies Fang and Nix, and we were playing, like, I think tag at the time. It's funny because we're just running around outside of school. It's summer, it's the last year. So we're at the high school because it's across the street from their house because they live literally across the street from the high school. We were playing tag, and then that last day, varsity team had practice, and those guys saw me, and they knew me because they knew us through the park that we'd go play.
Okay.
And I'm sure they knew my Winter, and but yeah, they were a little younger than Winter, but older than me. These guys were 11th, 12th graders at the time, and I was just 8th grader. So they came up and they were like, "Dude, come and practice with us. We know you got you can play, you can hoop. Come practice. We'll talk to Coach Snyder. Blah blah blah." I walked up in there. Coach Snyder looked at me at the time, and he was like, Yang, you got some shoes? And I looked at myself like, heck no, I ain't got no shoes. This is the last day of school. Why would I carry basketball shoes on me? I didn't even know that they started practice that day, like right when we ended their school year, you know? So I was like, oh man, I was like, I don't. And I was like, matter of fact, I'm playing tag. So I had to get back. And literally, like, he was like, he wanted me to jump on. Like, it's funny too because the coach was real cool with us. Because when I was in junior varsity, we would take the buses, you know, to the away games and back, and we would have to ride with the varsity players. So, because JV played at like 6, and then varsity played at like 7:30 or something like that, back to back. So we all took the same school bus, right? Freshmen's, they would have to do their own thing. But nonetheless, when we were on the bus ride back one night, and I lit up the school for like 20-something points, just threes, right?
Okay.
And I remember the varsity coach looked at me and was like, Yang was hot tonight. And he was like, he would always just try to like gas me up. But, if I would have been a little bit more like, thinking on my feet, I probably would have been like, hey man, I need to grab my basketball shoes and come back in the gym and hoop. But, I did take third string anyway, underneath Carlos English. But it would have been great if you go Carlos English or look him up on YouTube.
Okay.
He's a phenom at Fitzgerald. He's a Harlem Globetrotter now, but
oh, is he?
Great.
Yeah, man. Hey,
Yeah.
Hey, look, Warren's had some. We've got some talent, man. Like we got some dudes in the city of Warren that came up, and like I said earlier, man, we had an All-American. I don't know if you remember this, B. When we first came out and played one of your tournaments. What, 96, I think it was, man. And me and my cousins King and Lou and them all. And we had a 6-footer, 6'6" guy, Mikadu guy, right?
Okay.
Keith Allen. Dude was an All-American. Remember the dude that was dunking out? Yeah, remember the dude that was dunking out, shooting lights out?
Yeah.
That dude was an All-American, bro. Like, no joke, bro. Like, yeah, man, we had some
All-American player to my basketball tournament.
Yeah, bro, and we got whomped. Bro. Man. Hey, but it was fun, though.
I was wondering. I don't want to go off subject.
That's funny.
Did the Rebel play in that tournament that you guys played in with your All-American friend?
I don't
it was
so.
Earthquake was there.
Remember.
Oh yeah, EQ.
Yeah,
EQ.
Yeah,
okay.
EQ.
They might have won that year. Okay.
They did.
They did.
They always did.
5 beats 1 anytime. Unless you're MJ.
Well, let me ask you guys this, man. I remember. I don't know if this game was against you guys, or I can't remember who EQ played in the finals. Did you guys play against them in the finals, or no?
We have, yeah.
Okay. Well,
but
were they the one that did and we didn't catch that because we have home refs, right? So were they the one that threw an out of bounds play and the guy was funny. Out of bounds and the guy launched it and he came out of bounds and caught it and went up for a layup? Was that against you guys?
Probably, man. Probably. I mean, Victor's got all the old mixtapes, man. So I'm sure he got some evidence somewhere stored in some vault somewhere. But you got to remember, my brothers are 6 and 7 years younger than I am. So when we were competing in Triple H's tournaments back in the mid 90s, they weren't hooping yet. Like, the leader was a little kid, and Power. I mean, at the time I was 16, bro. So Power was 10. Right. So they weren't even they were hooping because I made them hoop, but they weren't able to compete yet.
Well, I mean, whether you put it that way, let me ask Leader this. Leader, when did you start playing basketball? At what age?
We started back in Imlay City when
in the
I
barn.
was in first grade. So Power was second grade. Yeah, so I was first grade. So whatever.
Wait, you guys used to live in MLA City? Is that what you guys said?
Yeah. Right. For like 3 years.
2 years.
So all those hoop barn videos you see on YouTube, that was us back in the day. So every time we see that stuff, it's so funny. It's so reminiscent to our past.
Hey, that's legit, man. I'm telling you, man. That's how you get better, man.
Look, when you out on a farm and you ain't got nothing else to do, like in the wintertime, I'd wake these boys up. Yeah. I'd wake my sisters up too, and I'd force all of them to go hoop with me because I got nobody else out there, right? So there we are in a pole barn hooping in the middle of winter with jackets on, with a portable hoop, and the ceiling in the pole barn was just high enough for us to raise the portable to like 9 feet. If we had it at 10, the backboard was touching the ceiling.
Oh,
So
okay, okay, yeah.
we had to learn how to shoot line dryers, bro. Because you couldn't shoot no rainbow shots because
Yeah.
it would just hit the ceiling, right?
Yeah.
So
True
yeah, that's how it
story.
was, man.
I got a true story. Like
Okay.
honestly, oh, my,
No, go ahead.
the barn. I remember the barn like it was yesterday in Imlay City. Reason why was because like I would joke around when I tell people, like, because they would ask if like yeah, how'd you get like this good or blah blah this and that. But well, you know what? Honestly, my brother Winter, he was like a mad scientist. He'd pull me back as soon as I get off of class, right, or off of school. We come back, the bus drops us off. I'm about to go back inside and do homework. Winter goes, nope, not so fast. I need somebody to practice with me. Pulls me over to the barn. I don't get to do homework till 10 p.m. My mom would be like, why aren't you doing homework? I'd be at the barn being his practice buddy so Winter could get better. But little did Winter know he created a monster within a year,
Probably make it to the
right?
league,
Like
man.
literally.
You was making
So
them,
I would be like,
was
that's
making them chase chickens.
what happened.
Hey, bro, we had hoop dreams,
I was
bro. Come on, man.
Chasing chickens.
We
Now
got
let me
plenty of chickens.
let me ask you this, man. You know, because I feel like you guys are so athletic, man. And leader, you don't give yourself enough credit. I'm gonna give you credit, man. You are pretty athletic, man. Okay. You may not think like that now, but maybe in your heydays you might be. But even now, I still think you're good. But let me ask you guys this, man. Between all three of you guys, man, I mean, who is the most harsh brother? Who's the one that always be like, we need to go out there and practice. We need to get better. We can't take the L. We out there to take a dub every single time. Like who's that guy? I want to know who's that guy. Come on, who's that guy? Come on.
In my screen,
I would have to say. I would either have to say. I don't know. I don't know what that is.
Come on, man.
Is that B?
No. I mean, for me, I would say Power, but Power might say Winner, but for me, because Power's my older
crazy.
brother, so he was the one that forced me, dragged me, hey, let's go hoop, let's go do this.
Mhm.
And
I did.
I'm tagging along, so
I think I got that from Winter.
Right, I think it's just a trickle down effect there. Like
We needed a buddy to beat up, with, and go through the ride with. But
I mean, you know
just
how I feel, man. If we're going to lose, we're not going. So we got to be prepared, or else we're not going. Because if we're going, we're only going to win.
right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, 100. I mean,
Has it been like does this motivate it? Okay, even today we're still hooping, but let's be honest here. We're a little older now, right? You guys are a little older now. We all have more responsibilities, right? So the dedication, like back in the days, it's a lot different to today, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, when we was playing back in the days, you guys was playing back in the days, man. I mean, what was it like? I mean, what was it like? Like every day we got to go out there and hoop. Let's go run some games.
man.
Or somebody.
Absolutely.
There's a bunch of basketball players at the park. Let's go shoot some hoops so we can get better. I mean, what was it like? I mean, when you guys was all like you said, Winter, they're a lot younger than you. I mean, what was it like back in the days? I mean, like, hey, let's go, man. They're hooping over there. There's a lot of competition. Let's go over.
Bro.
Let's get better.
Man, that's easy, bro. I mean, like for me, like after we left Lake City, we came to this to Warren. My only job was let me try to find talent so that I could start a team, right? Me and my cousin Victor was like, hey, let's get a team together. We want to compete because we love the sport so much, right? And so I spent literally every day after school, every weekend at the park. I mean, go up to Stevens Park, man. Everybody there know us, right?
Yeah.
Every single day we're there, man. From the moment we get off school, get home, get something to eat, we head straight to the park, and we don't come home until sundown. Mm-hmm. And it was every day like that, every summer. And then on the weekends, we don't really go to the park there, right? So on the weekends, me and my team, we would drive around to other parks to look for competition.
Yeah.
So like it got to a point where, I mean, back in the day, you had all Asian tournaments. So my team wasn't all Hmong; it was all Asian. Like I had a Korean guy, Vietnamese guy, a couple of Filipinos, Laos guys on my team. We had a pretty mixed bag, right? And that's also one of the reasons why we got better than everybody else in our community, because we weren't just playing with the kids in our community. Like eventually got to a point where they were no longer competition. I mean, let's just be honest. At the time, I was a little taller than most people in my community. Not so much anymore. These
Yeah,
boys are big now, but
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, 5'8", we're average, right? But in the mid '90s, man, we were tall, man, for 5'8" guys, right? And
yeah,
so, um, we would go around looking for competition, and we weren't looking to just play Asian kids, man. Like we'd go and get our butts spanked by black kids and white kids who are 6'6"
oh yeah,
and whatever, right? But we wanted to go through that fire so that we could get better. Like, hey, man, how do we play against guys bigger than us, better than us, with a different demeanor than us, right? Like, how do we do all that? And so we would just go look for people at certain parks and whatever, and then eventually people would start coming to our park looking for competition. Our
right,
park became kind of like a hot spot. Kids from different high schools around the way would come through there because they knew there was competition there. They would come either to play us or because so many people were coming there to look to play that comp, they would come to play each other. So we had a ton of competition. And then obviously that's when my brothers started hooping with us too. And I mean, Power, once he hit like 14, my team was already established, but we were still older, right? So by the time he was 14, I'm 20. The rest of my teammates, like, around that age and
yeah,
whatever. And, my brothers, I mean, they started hooping in. Power was the Steph Curry before Steph Curry came about, man, like straight up.
yeah, yeah,
Like at 14, could nobody check him. Not,
yeah,
our best defender on my team, a grown man, 21, 22, right? Couldn't even check him at 14. Like he
right.
was just killing him. We would do one v ones and he would just kill him. And so I mean, like every day, man, basketball was our religion. That was really all we said. We was like, hey man, my church is the court. Basketball is my religion. We live, eat, and breathe this, man. Like there's nothing else we're gonna do, and nothing else we want to do.
How much you mentioned Paul was 14 years old when he started playing with you. So
Yeah.
obviously Leader was about 13. So Leader wasn't really prepared to play yet in the tournaments, but
Mhm.
how much impact was Power to you guys? I mean, by this time you gotta have to say that your rosters probably changed a little bit. Am I right?
Well, at that point, man, when he was 14, he was still very, very short and very scrawny. He was probably
Okay.
like 5'5", maybe at best.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe 5'4", right?
Okay.
But he
Hmm.
had handles out the world. So like, I promise you, man, like y'all see Steph, the way he handles the ball, that was Power before y'all ever seen Steph.
Yeah.
His head fakes, bro, the side step, all that, man. The head fakes, where he'll get you up in the air 3 times before he pulls it on you, and
Yeah.
it'd be nothing but net. And but he was so little, and he didn't have the confidence with the experience yet, so we couldn't really play him in tournaments just yet. So
Okay.
I mean, you saw, man. I mean,
Yeah.
if you remember back to some of the tournaments, we would throw him in when we had a comfortable lead, right? Like we'd be up like 20, and then we'd throw him in,
Yeah.
and then he would just he'd be playing against my peers, right?
Yeah.
He'd be playing against our peers, and he'd just be killing these dudes. And I mean, man, I mean, the crowd, the gym would be cheering.
Yeah.
It'd be like people trying to like the NBA, like we're all at home cheering, like, hey, release Jeremy Lin, right? Let him play, right?
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
kind of the same feel, man. And you could hear the gym just like, hey, man, let him play, and then
You
finally
know,
we put him in, and
when you have somebody special that comes in and you know that they're still in like kind of a learning phase, and when
Mhm.
they get the opportunity to play, it's like, oh, you want that person to do good. You know, you want
Oh
him to
yeah,
do
yeah,
good. Whether you're winning by 30 or you're losing by 30, when you put that one player in, it's like, you know he's gonna do something good. So Power, you being 14 years old, man, what's going through your mind? What, like, when your brother and them out there competing, you had all your brother's friends and them, they're a lot older than you guys, and they're competing. Like, what's going through your mind when you're sitting on that bench? Like, when am I gonna get my shot? When am I gonna get
Right,
my
right.
opportunity? How is that like?
I mean, to be honest, going through it was definitely an experience of itself, other than just basketball. But man, it just knowing that like you are entrusted with, and having a bigger role than just what most average players have. I believe it with most of my like I guess basketball career history, whatever. I kind of felt that, but it was just something that I had to accept. That's the biggest thing. was that I had to accept that I understood my role, I understood my responsibility, and that I would have this light with me that I would have to, I'd have a platform that I'd have to kind of like showcase in a way where I was not just throwing it away in a sense, Um, it really kind of it made me stronger as a person and as a basketball player. It taught me a lot of things, honestly, just to be able to have, with great power comes great responsibility, right?
Yeah.
So I would have to hone that and keep that to my own craft and kind of just, you know, every day or every time, every chance that I got, I would have to try to my best to craft it and get it even better than before because I had to keep polishing it and just keep polishing it. And because I knew that I would have to one day lead the new wave, of guys, or
Mm.
at least kind of have a bigger responsible, role in that. And eventually, it was just something that helped me, out and as well as my teammates. And I would like to think that Winter had a lot to deal with that, and as well as the older guys, Winter's buddies, and the teammates, because they gave me a lot of trust. And with that trust that was let down to me, I was obviously not going to let them down, because that's responsibility right there. It's something that they
Definitely.
entrusted me with, knowing that I'm 6 years younger than these guys, or even more. 10 years in some cases.
Right.
But knowing that I was able to play at that same level, and sometimes less, sometimes more, it gave me the confidence over time. With the experience and just the all the tournaments and leagues that we played, I understood that I had to let it come to me. And it's just one of those things you just can't override. You can't fake it. You can't fake the funk. You have to kind of go through the process. Like they say, enjoy and be, trust the process, right? You know what I mean? But
I
that's
think,
just the
and
thing
that's
that you have to understand with the sport.
well, you
It's a
mean
part of growing up.
you definitely make a good point because I think that kind of falls in every sport. You
Yeah.
whether you play in Hmong basketball tournament, Asian basketball tournament, or even in a high school, any type of organization that you play for. I mean, there's a stepping stone, right? I mean, of course, there's
Yep.
going to be one or two that's going to be gifted. That's going to jump right in the role, but you hit it on the notch, man. Power, because that's why I see you guys have such a good relationship and much and respect for each other because you know you never wanted to step out of that boundary. You waited for your turn, and you knew that once that opportunity came, your brother was gonna, of course, unfortunately, put you in the game and let you do what you're gonna
Yeah.
have to do. But that's a great thing, man. That's a great feeling. But leader, when was it for you as a younger brother, being that you were probably 13 years old and Power was already 14? Power was already sitting on the bench. I mean, let's take it back, man. Like, when was it when you actually was in the picture? Like, okay, I'm ready to play. Yo, Winner, brother, I'm ready to play. When was that time that you remember, you recall that it was like
Yeah.
your time?
Uh, Compared to Power, I'm a little bit late bloomer. I don't think I started playing in an actual tournament until like I was 16, I think.
Okay,
Um, Cause yeah, I think Power started about 14, 15, and I didn't sit on the roster until about 16. Cause I was small too. Man, we were all small, but
Yeah.
I'd say about 16 until I got a little bit more height. Still scrawny as heck. But yeah, just needed more experience, more skills.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
When
really
did you
it.
start actually taking it serious? Was the moment
Who,
that,
me?
yeah? When you started taking it serious? You're like, all right, you know what?
Um,
I like basketball. You know, I want to play. I really want to compete. Like, when was it when you first told yourself that?
Man, it's a mix of I got no choice and a mix of I like playing this. So like basketball. Most of my friends come from basketball, right?
Sure.
So
Yeah.
That makes a
it's a
lot of sense.
camaraderie. Um, all my friends growing up in grade school were black, right? Because 90% of kids playing ball was black. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what it is. I mean, and that's the beauty of sports, really. But yeah, I mean, I started playing, like I said earlier, when I was in first grade. Obviously, not so serious, but I started organized basketball in third grade.
Okay.
When we
Okay.
moved to a different,
Very early.
yeah. So when we moved to a different elementary, they started organized sports for us, basketball at third grade. in fourth grade and fifth grade, and then so power started at fourth. I started at third. But yeah, I mean, I took it serious then. I made great
Oh, okay.
friends then,
Okay.
and so we were always competitive, whether it was wrestling each other or playing basketball. But every single day, you always got your basketball shorts under your jeans. No matter
Yeah,
where you
man.
at, you ready to hoop, man. That's how it was every single day.
Yeah.
90s
I
basketball
remember those
shorts,
days.
bro, all the way down to your ankles.
Let me ask you this, Winner. Let me ask you this, man. Is winning part of like is it like natural to you? Is that normal? Like you can't never take an L. Like for me personally, you know, I seen you at your highest point. Okay, let's just kind of throw it out there. I seen you at your highest point, and I've also seen you at your lowest point. And I feel like I never want to put you in a bad position at your lowest point because, you know, coaching you guys for 9 years to maybe 10 years now, right? And of course, I'm young myself, but I stopped playing. So, you know, not being able to coach you guys has been a blessing and a great opportunity because I learned so much from you guys. And not only that, Winner, you know, you always been on my side. I think even me coaching you, you was kind of like my sidekick because we both started this together. You know, when we first started Bad Boys, it wasn't my idea. It was your idea. And then I took initiative and said, you know what? I like your idea. Let's put a team together. Now, granted, right? It wasn't supposed to be the way it was supposed to be. Am I right? We wasn't supposed to build this team to compete in Michigan. We wasn't. It was only supposed to be a travel team.
Right, right.
But I feel like, you know, Winner, going back to my question I was going to ask you, man. I mean, how tough is it to always want to win? I mean, because your stride is so different than everybody else. Um, I've seen people where they lose a game and they can just walk off the court like nothing even ever happened. But for you, man, you're so emotional when it comes to winning or losing. Like you never let you never let your guard down. Like explain that to me. Like what's the nature like being winner, always wanting to win?
Bro, man, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's a lifetime of just trying to prove myself, man. I mean, I guess it comes with the territory with my name, but it's not the greatest name in the world, man. Believe it or not. Growing up, man, it's obvious jokes, right? I mean, people are always gonna call you loser or stupid stuff like that, and so like you ball all that up, man, into like a whole lifetime of just being like oppressed by people bigger than you, whatever, right? I mean, we're Hmong, right? We're raised to like be meek and mild mannered, and then eventually just got to a point where you're like, man, I can't keep being like this, right? Like there's more for me out there. I'm supposed to be somebody bigger than what I am right now, right? And so losing, man, bro, like I hate losing. Like I hate it. I only compete in what I know I can win in. I compete in a handful of things, right? I mean, you know, you do some of those things with me, right?
Mm-hmm.
I only compete in things that I know I can come out with a trophy. If I can't come out with a bag, man, I don't want nothing to do with it, right? And so for me, um, I hate the idea of like I'm gonna offend some people. I'm sure I'm gonna offend some generations, maybe even. But I hate the idea of handing out sportsmanship trophies. I hate the idea of everybody gets a ribbon for participation. I hate the idea of, oh no, you did your best. Nah, man, look, there's only one philosophy I believe in: winning at all costs. Right? I'm all about teamwork, but there's a higher level in teamwork.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
A lot of people don't really get that. They think, all right, we're a team. We're just gonna everyone has to contribute. Man, look, that's great and all because that's what we were taught. But true champions, man, they realize what MJ realized, what Kobe realized, what very few of them realize, right? Bird, all them guys. You put your best foot forward, and if your best foot forward means that it's one guy, then that's your best foot forward. If everybody has to pass the ball to that one guy so he can score 50 for you to get the W, then that's your best foot forward. So losing was never an option for me. I hate it. I can't stand it. I never want to lose. Every time I set foot on the court, man, I always believed 110% that I was the best player on the court. And if I didn't believe that, then I wasn't ready for that game. And that's the same kind of culture that I try to impart onto my team, right? Look, every time you step foot on the court, man, like you gotta believe that. So like losing just wasn't an option for us. We lost plenty, growing up, being 16-year-olds. We used to get killed by 30, man. Come on, man. First
Yeah.
few tournaments we
Yeah.
played
Oh
in,
yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, but those are growing pains, man. We all go through that, right? And so after you get demolished by 30 a couple games in a row, man, you start to realize that's not fun. People that tell you winning isn't everything, that's because they're losers, bro. Winning is everything.
Let me
Winning is
clarify.
absolutely everything. And if we're not winning, I am not having fun. That's just the bottom line. And so, like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how it is, man. We could be friends, but once we're on the court, if you're on the opposite team, man, you're no longer my friend. Like, I would not speak to you the same way I would off the court.
Right.
And
Look,
my brothers know. I mean, we've competed against
I
each other.
So
I got.
what's your take on that, Power? I mean, do you agree
I
with your
was
brother
about
on
to.
that?
I was just about to say, like, you can have fun without winning, but it's not gonna be the maximized fun. It's just not. And I'll tell you a story, true story. Last tournament we played, right? It was the last tournament before the pandemic hit and whatnot, where we went against. We won at the New Year's indoor, right? At the Lego court where they built just that day,
I hated it.
right?
I hated it.
Right. So anyhow, at the end of the tournament, we take photos. I'm dead tired because I did everything that I possibly could. I mean, I probably maybe had like a little bit left in my gas tank, obviously enough for me to stand and barely smile or look at the camera. Right? Leader rap turns around to me. Rap goes, "Man, bro, why ain't you smiling? We won." I looked at it. I was like, "Bro, I killed myself so y'all two can smile." Bro, I'm dead.
Yeah.
I'm dead.
Yeah.
I was like, you see my spirit about to come out my eyes, bro?
Yeah.
I looked at him and I was like, look, I can smile now because I just cracked myself up. But in all honesty, Rap, I was like, man, I mustered everything I could and I put it on the court that day
Well, I
because
think
I was like, I'm tired, man. I'm tired.
Power, that comes a
But
long way.
we won though, so I was like, hey,
that comes a long way
did
because
what I could do.
that was part of being leader. That's part of being leadership on a team. You didn't want to let your team down, and I think that's something that I think we have to take in consideration. As an individual player, right? We don't have to be selfish out there, but the one thing that we have to remind ourselves is we're playing for each other, right? So for you to put your game on the line, right, for your team, that's generosity to me, telling Rap, that hey, dude, I'm tired because I put everything on the line out there,
Yeah.
But I'm sure he understands that, and as a coach, I appreciate that because I'm not the one out there busting my butt off. You guys are, and when I see that you guys are out there working hard and trying to get that dub for us, you can't ask no more from a player than what they're doing out there on the court. So, as a coach, I definitely appreciate that. But the one thing
It's
that
fun doing it.
it is. It's also fun too. And,
Yeah.
and I can always, take back on what winners say, losing is definitely not fun. You always want to have that mindset that you want to go out there and win, right? And then you got to have that confidence, like Winner just mentioned. You can't be going out there and be like, damn, I suck. I don't know if I can play against this team. You got to go out there with some confidence in yourself and be like, I'm going to be better than that guy. Or I'm going to be better than this whole team. And that's a great point that you made too, Winner, because as an athlete, in general, we gotta have that confidence. We gotta have that mentality, that pit bull mentality. Like, I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna tear it up. I don't care what anybody say. And Power, when we won that tournament, big props to Rap too, because Rap kept us in the game. But Power, man,
sure.
you showed it, Power. You definitely showed it. And what's your take on that, leader? I like to say you were a little rusty that tournament. But you played your role that game.
He did.
He did, and don't forget this, guys. We played very short-handed. Okay, we
Very
played short-handed. I think we had maybe 8 players, and the other 3 guys on the bench besides me.
We used.
Yeah, and Fubu, and so we were very short.
He was
but
like 6 guys.
Yeah,
Damn,
exactly.
I forgot y'all won with my cousin Pooh, man.
Yeah, hey,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
he's got he got a championship under his belt, man.
He was
Yeah.
But leader, going
a
back to
moral
you, man. I
support.
mean, when we're in this type of competition, this type of competition level, I mean, we play some great teams. Let's
Yeah.
give Minnesota a shout out for coming out here and playing because they
Yeah.
brought some talent. Let's not forget,
As
Bobby came from
always.
Oklahoma. Those guys were talent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And big shout out to
They
those guys
created a
because
super team.
yeah, they built a good team. So it
They
was tough playing
created a
against
super
them.
team that
It
day.
was tough.
Yeah.
It could have gone either way, to be honest. But
Yeah.
the winning teams always got to come out, right? So and it happened to be us, but big props to those guys too. But leader, man, going back to what I was saying to you, man. I mean, Winner hasn't played with us in maybe 4 years, 5 years, I want to say. I mean, what's your take on that? Like, how is it different now that it's just two of you guys playing with each other?
Yeah. I mean, it's funny that tournament, like, it felt so great winning because obviously the year before we had lost. But yeah, I mean, and again, we were shorthanded, but it felt so gratifying that it was just me, Power, Rap, and Jay, and we almost didn't take Jay that tournament. Remember, we had conversations about that,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we almost didn't call Jay to play with us because he gonna be mad.
You know
when he
Jay's
sees
gonna be
this
watching
shit.
this,
Oh,
right?
he's gonna be mad when he sees this shit.
Yeah,
I
because
know nothing about this, man.
me and
Yeah,
I love you,
winner.
Jay, but
Hey Jay,
but
we
yeah,
love you, man. We
yeah,
love you.
me and B had conversations, and
I'm
we're
just
like,
learning
dude,
about this now.
are we gonna add Jay back into the mix? And we were so short-handed that we had no choice, and we're like, we just
Uh-huh.
have to manage the losses he bring into the table, and then all the pluses he brings to the table. And he showed up with big rebounds, big steals,
Oh
like he
yeah.
always does.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
El Presidente.
Take some
From that
charges
point
too.
on,
He took some
from
charges.
that point on,
Good calls.
I'm just like, I'm never gonna doubt Jay ever again. I'll take his bad
experience.
decisions over, I'll take all his good things
That's
over
it.
all his bad
He's
decisions.
a ride or die. Jay's
Yeah,
a
so
ride or die.
that
so it's funny,
experience.
Yeah.
but yeah, like that
Experience
tournament
does
was
everything.
great because, like, again, it felt like for me, it was just the four of us, and we pushed so hard. And we put so much work in. Power saying he was so exhausted. Likewise, I felt the same way.
Yeah.
And then Rhapsody, out of nowhere, was making shots finally. But Rap, I always trusted Rap.
Hold on. Hold that
No.
thought, leader. Did you say finally?
Finally, yeah.
Big moments. He finally came out.
Rap,
Finally.
yeah, finally. Yeah, but you know what? I always play with Rap.
That's
in
his
big
best
games,
man.
And Rap always had
FYI.
that confidence playing with me because
Yeah.
I made him my number one scorer when I played pickle with him.
Mhm.
So a lot of times he was better than anyone else in my opinion at shooting. So when he finally got to this, accept this role, and we entrusted him with this role, that just boosts his confidence. That's why we were so good with just the three of us
Mhm.
offensively.
I like to take a little bit of credit with Rap shooting because
Yeah.
I usually push him because he's usually looking at me like, man, I could shoot better than this guy. But he's tested me a few times and he's found out he could take some L's, any day of the week, So,
Well, let me
but nonetheless, I'm glad he showed up because I trusted him with the ball.
Exactly. Well, let me just kind of share this because, he would he would message me or he would text me and he'd be like, "Yo, bro, when you gonna put me in that starting lineup, man?" And I'm always like, "Bro, man, you gonna get your opportunity." Because our lineup is so strong. Even when Winter was still playing, and of course we never counted you out, Winter, because we always wanted you to come back, old man. But anyways, the thing about it was that I always told him, I was like, look, man, when you get your opportunity, go in there and do what you're supposed to do. And, having you guys, Winner and leader, to kind of and kind of guide him into his position. We all know that he wasn't the best ball handler out there, but what he's really good at was making cut runs and taking shots when he's supposed to, right?
And fouling the shit out of his opponents.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, man.
And he was
No,
strong.
I mean, much to Rap's credit, man, he was one of the better lockdown defenders. He was a really good on-ball defender and a good face guard, right? And so, like, we would always stick him on like one of their better players, and he made the job easier for us because we had somebody who was focused on defense, which then allowed like guys like Power to focus on offense or allow me to focus on in a high post, And so
Yeah.
It worked.
Yeah, it's tough too because like
He's your quintessential 3-and-D guy,
Yeah.
which is
yeah,
perfect.
I second that because it's like most of the times in the teams that we've played, um, usually the best defender is our best offensive player. So Rap being that good defender allowed us to actually focus a little bit more on offense.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
because it was either like always me or Jew who would guard up on the better offensive player, but little did our team know we were probably using all of our efforts on offense as well. But that's just the way it was most of the times. So we were never like of that privileged team to have A+ players at all times like a super team. We just had to work for it. That
Yeah.
was the thing.
Yeah. I mean, I totally get it, man, because rappers, he's one of a kind, man. He's very humble as himself, and the way he sets himself up, I think it's so much respectful, man. He's got a good game, man. But let me go ahead and get this party going up a little much more. One of the things that I see between you three brothers, and it could be any time, guys. This question, and any one of you guys can answer this, man. What was one of the most proudest moment you guys has as brother playing basketball? Like any one of you guys can answer this. I want to know like
Uh,
what was the proudest moment between you three that you guys was like, yeah, this was it.
you know what? I would have to.
I'll let them answer that, man. Go ahead.
I, to me, honestly, like the most like recent one, and it was pretty big. It was a 3v3 tournament at the church tournament.
I remember.
I thought to myself, I was like, wow, I didn't even expect this to even get to the finals. I mean, not saying that I doubted us. It was just the fact that we were like, hey, we're having fun, we're competing. But as I was looking at the tournament, I'm not saying we're not good. I'm saying that there was a lot of good competitors that day.
Oh yeah, there was.
Seeing specifically Bush's team, they had 6 players who could or 5 players out of the 6, really competitive.
And like 4
Well,
of
they
them
were
were
all competitive,
6
but
feet
5 were
tall.
really good.
Yeah.
Right. Like 3 or 4 of them were 6 feet tall, but we got fortunate in that tournament, and the things worked out in our bracket. But nonetheless, not saying we didn't play good teams, because we only had 3 guys. It was just the 3 of us, and literally, I think we were the only team with 3 guys. So had one of us got injured or cramped out or anyway, we would have lost. We would have taken the L. But we had to understand. The thing I always say to my brothers, and they could agree or disagree, but I always will accept this as the truth, and I will never dismiss it. Is that it doesn't matter how good you are, if you get injured on your own, you're not good enough.
Yeah.
You have to be prepared for that, so you don't have to make those extra moves, putting yourself at risk for that injury. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
You have to be that prepared.
Right.
You have to be that. You have to be that. Well disciplined, so that you don't make those wrong moves. Because if you had to make that wrong move and get injured, that means you weren't good enough. But I get that from my dad, because my dad will always say, like, like he'll say to me, you got to be better than that, or you got to do certain things so you don't get to that point. But that's just one of those things, like my dad was also a big role in our success. I would have to say, especially for me. I mean, not only did he show fan support throughout the tournaments, the leagues, my high school games, he would show up to away games as well. And he worked, obviously he was a trucker, so he was out there, 6, 7, 8 days a week, and barely had enough time to do whatever that he needed, but nonetheless, he would show up, which made a big difference. Just having an extra guy in your corner, right? The guy that you knew most, just always having your back, showing up. But basically, having him a little bit, in your corner, talking to you and telling you what you need to do, it gave you all the confidence that you needed, even if you didn't have anyone else there.
Well, now that you took
obviously
now
that
you took my next question out of my mouth. You read my mind, man.
I read your mind. I did.
You did read my mind.
That's what happens when you're drinking whiskey.
But one of the questions that I asked Chang on my first episode with Chang from Rebels, I've always noticed that his dad was always a huge impact on their
Yeah.
basketball. It wasn't even just about basketball. It was just it could have been education. It could be anything. Just a moral support towards Chang and him, right, and all his brothers. You guys also have a very supportive dad. I see him. I mean, I remember when we was young, and this old guy would always sit there and just watch the basketball game. And by all means, I never knew that was y'all dad until I got a little bit into my early 20s. Um, I mean, how much of an impact was he, leader, to you guys?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, he was always there. You know, my dad's a quiet guy, doesn't talk much. You know, we come home after a tournament, get our butts beat, or we weren't good at doing this or that. You know, he'd be like, "Yo, y'all could have did this better. Y'all could have did that better. Y'all didn't do that. If y'all would have did that, y'all would have won." Things like that. You know, I mean, he obviously doesn't know basketball like the way we do,
Mm-hmm.
but he's always there. And again, he's just a quiet guy. He's there, morally supporting us, which is great. You know, that's all you can ask from a dad. You know, I
Oh yeah.
mean, so yeah.
I remember when I was hosting the basketball league, the Hmong Basketball League,
Mm.
and he came to watch one of y'all games. Um, and I saw him, and I knew that he knew who I was. But I never had a conversation with your dad. But I finally, manned up, and I was like, basically, I asked, your dad for his name and what should I call him, and we had a short conversation, but it was really good because, I thanked him for always showing support, not just to you guys, but I appreciated him because he always showed support to our events,
Mhm.
and it felt great because I love my dad too, but my dad, and I can say this because my dad, he loved me. He always supported me, but he was never physically there. And when I see you guys have support from your family, and especially your dad, he goes everywhere with you guys. And
Oh yeah, man, like literally everywhere. Well,
yeah,
again, we got some stories, bro. Yeah, man. Hey,
Yeah.
my pops is like our best friend, man. Dude, sports, he's there. School, he's there.
yeah.
Um, house parties, bro. My pops has
Yeah, man,
partied with
he's there.
us. He's partied with us, bro. Like
I
every
like that.
weekend, bro.
I like
Hey,
that.
it's
Yeah.
crazy, man. Like on our way out to the Twin to like compete in tournaments, we dropped my dad off in Wisconsin
Oh.
to
Yeah,
like hang out and stuff, right? And then on our way back home from the Twin, we'll pick him up and then go home.
yeah,
Sometimes he's like, "Hey, I ain't coming home this week. I'll catch a ride next week or something." Stuff
yeah.
like that. But like my pops is like our best friend, man. So yeah,
He's a
we we've
homie.
been we've been fortunate, bro. Yeah, I mean we've been real fortunate. I mean,
He's a,
we
he
look
been through it.
being Hmong, right? I mean, my brothers can attest to this, man. Being Hmong, um, you're right, B. It's kind of rare to see like parents supporting, especially in the earlier generations, right?
Yeah.
Like we're second gen, man, and to see parents supporting their children in especially sporting events man, or sporting activities, man, it's kind of rare to see, right? So like Chang and his brothers and Gomeng and all the guys are to see their dad always there, man, dude. You have to believe that that's a key ingredient to their success.
Oh yeah,
Hmm.
Me
Oh
and my
yeah,
brothers, my pops is
100%.
always there, man. We know that's a
Yeah.
key ingredient to our success. My pops was young enough to still hoop with us in our driveway,
yeah,
and then even like you look at like the Lee brothers on the Twin, man,
yeah.
their pops is always there, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
came all the
So it's
Yeah.
like
way.
Yeah.
you
Absolutely.
gotta believe that there's real good relationship there with family relationship and then a lot of support from the home, and so that helps. That gives us
That's that
the comfort
confidence booster,
to
man.
Yeah,
really really just do what we were supposed to, right? And so like, and I'm not
Facts.
saying that to like to look down on others that don't have that support, man. Like just understand there's young fellows and young ladies out there.
yeah,
We're in a small community. Our parents, they grew. Some of them just got over here in the late '60s and didn't even know how to flip on a light switch, right? So
yeah,
for them to express their love outwardly, affectionately, not happening. A pat in your head, that was it. That was I love you right there, right? So it took a lot of ourselves growing up being Americans to kind of really pave the way for that too. Like I remember, growing up thinking, man, how come we're not like other American families, right? Because we're not. And then I realized It's our culture.
Yep.
And the thing about culture is this: you can't really change your culture, but what you can do is create new culture, and then eventually those new cultures kind of slide in place, and then the old cultures kind of make way for it, right? And so eventually I started just kind of being outwardly expressive towards my parents, verbally telling them how I felt about them. Eventually got to a point where, like I would be able to kiss my father,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then I think really that is what broke the mold, where then they finally were able to like express that back in return. And so like, so young people out there, man, like it starts with you. Like break the wheel. It starts with you. You want change. You got to start it. And so, like now we had a great relationship with our parents, man. I mean, like we can tell it. We talk about anything really with my dad, man. It's hilarious. It's great.
I mean, that's the great thing about it, man. I think like you just hit the jackpot there, because the one thing about a lot of young kids today, they're afraid to approach their parents. They're afraid to express themselves and say, hey, mom and pops, I really want to join the basketball team or the football team or whatever sports they want to play. But they're really afraid because they already know that their parents may have a different aspects or a way of thinking. Because we're Hmong, right? Our parents want education first, right?
Oh
So
yeah,
they don't want us to play any kind of sports because they know that might kind of distract us from trying to focus on school. But and this could be another topic too. But what I want to really point out is, I think communicating with your parents is a big thing, because if we don't communicate with our parents and show them and express to them like, hey, I really love this game, I'm not trying to become a professional, or I am trying to become a professional,
yeah.
but I need you guys to support me.
I was.
Because we all have dreams. We all have dreams. And whether it ends up the way or it doesn't end up the way we expected, at least we tried, right? So,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's the great thing, man. I'm sure everybody who's watching this, are going to take a lot of things from this, and hopefully, we can appreciate that later on in the future, because, there's a lot of talented kids today, For us, I mean, we're all self-taught. Am I right here? We self-taught ourselves.
pretty
Um,
much, man.
of course, Power and Leader, they had the opportunity to play organized sports growing up, and I had too, but I never really took it that serious. But for you guys, it shows. It shows in y'all game. And the one thing that I want to point out is, did your dad have any favorite? Was one of you guys a favorite?
That's easy, man. That's Power, man. Power's the
That was
favorite,
early
man.
on.
Power's
I
the
mean-
golden child. Put it that way.
I mean,
Power's
If
the
you
He
favorite
was
'cause
special in many ways.
yeah. He-
you gotta edit that out. B says he's gonna edit it out.
Growing up,
Yeah.
he was a funny kid. He was a goofball. So my father just like naturally gravitated toward him. Right. For me, I was kind of I kind of kept to myself a lot more. So like I didn't really have that relationship with my dad until I got older.
Mhm.
But my dad gave me room to like grow. But with Power, like they were always like pure chemistry. So he loved Power, man. I mean, and Leader's the youngest, like any young child, man. They usually it's the opposite, right? Usually it's the middle child who's the forgotten child, and or
Yeah.
at least in our case,
Usually
the
is.
middle son who's the forgotten son, and then the baby is the pride and joy. But
Well, let me ask you this, Paul, without going off topic, man.
Uh-huh.
Did you take advantage of being the middle child, man?
Did I
The middle
take
child
advantage
of
of
the
being the middle
boys.
child?
The middle child of the boys.
I mean, I don't know if I did. I didn't know I was, but I think that's how natural it just got. Like I got comfortable with it. That was it.
Sure.
But I got
nah,
the feedback back from my dad, and it was like that's just the way it was.
yeah,
Just
he definitely didn't have he didn't go through middle child like he just wasn't the middle child. Like when you hear about a middle child, the way they're treated, like that wasn't Power. He just wasn't treated that way. He was treated like, not the middle child, man. I mean, he wasn't the eldest, but
Yeah.
there
I can't
definitely was no middle child there.
I can't speak on their behalf because I was the middle child, so I can only speak on my behalf. But yeah, I don't know what they went through, but I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I guess more of the attention gravitated my way. That was
Right,
it.
right. Well, we got about 5 minutes here, and I want to go through a couple more questions before we head off. Okay, guys. Um, leader, if you had one thing to say to both of your brothers right now in regards to basketball, what would it be?
You said regarding to basketball?
Yeah, just regarding the basketball.
Uh,
What would you say to your two brothers right now?
I mean, I've publicly stated it before. After winning that 3v3 championship, I wouldn't trade these guys for any other teammates. There's a difference with guys that you play with and pick up, or over a span of many years, and then there's a difference, playing with your brothers. So I'm blessed to say that I got two brothers that could hoop, and that we hooped together, and that we got championships together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And we went through the ups and the downs, the struggles. And then winter wasn't there for that last championship, but especially with me and Power, man, I just remember we came home and just soaked in that gratifying feeling of glory,
yeah,
and overcoming our loss from the year prior, and beating a Wisconsin and Minnesota team, feeling understaffed. That
Yeah.
felt great. So
Yeah.
even the 3-on-3 tournament, I think I scored maybe one bucket. And I think Power must have scored like 90% of his
Yeah.
field goals, probably about 90
Yeah.
of winner
Winner,
shots.
winner has some
And
buckets,
and
man.
winner
Winner,
looked like he was
winner
28.
impressed the crap out of me.
But yeah,
It-
that's it, man. I wouldn't trade these guys for any other teammates.
I think
As much
that's
as we argue and fight, but that's part of winning.
well. That takes me to my next question. Because I've seen you guys in our timeouts and our huddles and stuff like that, and I feel like when I'm talking to you guys, I'm like talking to like some machines that never stops talking. Because
Hey.
it's like I'm yelling at you guys, but you guys are yelling at each other, and I'm like, I
Yeah,
don't
that's
know how to
funny.
take that. Like, I don't know if
Why-
I should be offended or should I like smack you guys in the head or what it is. But
I felt like
get
we're
it.
living a moment right now.
Yeah, but I
As soon as
get
you said
it.
that.
I get it. So Power. I mean,
Uh,
what's it like? I mean, to always like knowing that when you get out of a time or you go into a timeout, winner's gonna say something to you, or leader's gonna say something. Like, how do you take that? Power, how do you take that?
I mean, first off, it's like once you've been through it more than once, you know something's coming. So you're built for it. So like it's it's coming. Like I expect something. If I don't hear nothing, I know somebody's bullshitting me. That's the truth.
Right.
Because I know. Because the thing is, we hold ourselves, not just ourselves, we hold each other to such a high standard that we get on each other. Like if you ever see Draymond Green get on Kevin Durant or Steph Curry or something like that, Draymond Green, Leader kind of reminds me of Draymond Green, honestly, because Leader would just get on you like like yo. I'm like, all right, I got it. But it's like
With the best intention.
I don't even know if it with the best intention, right? But the thing is, here's Leader's a tough like he's a tough guy in that aspect, because if you're not ready for that mental toughening, you're gonna break down. Because there's been times where Leaders
Made
tested
teammates cry.
me. Well, you never made me cry, but I mean, I would have to say like you got to a point where it was kind of like, man, it's a tough decision here for me to kind of pull off, because we might have been down like 10, 12 points, and I'm playing like shit, and the Leader just says this stuff, and I'm like, I don't know if it's gonna help me or not, but in the end, I'm just like, I just have to live with it. And I just have to, because that's my brother, and I'm like, you know what, and it could be anyone. You could be my teammate, but if you have the balls to say that to me, then that's probably what's going to be like, hey, I'm gonna have to step my game up.
Well,
And that's the thing that sometimes you need guys like this to say something like that to you. Same with Winner. Winner will bash on me too. In many different
Like
ways.
I said, I experienced it with you guys, and I see it because the first couple of times when I was coaching you guys, at first I was like, this can't be normal, because I've never. I mean, we play recreational basketball. I never see you guys argue like that. But when the moment that I got the opportunity to coach you guys, I'm like, wait a minute, these guys don't act like this when we're playing recreational basketball. Why are they doing it now? But after a couple of years, I finally realized that's normal. It's normal. To see
Yeah.
you three brothers going at it with each other on a timeout in the middle of a game, a tournament. then you guys are going at it. I finally just say, you know what? I'm gonna let these guys just go at it with each other because it works out at the end of the day.
They'll
And the
figure it
thing
out,
about it
right?
is, my question to you, Winter, is, man. I mean, I see you're really harsh on your brothers, and I think that's in a positive way. What's your take on that, man? I mean, how do you how do you say things to more motivate them without them being even offended, or is that just normal?
Look, it's just how I am towards them. It's the way our relationship is. Like when we're not talking competition, like you know, uh, our dialogue is much different. Like I'm actually much different. When we're just talking life or whatever other stuff, man, like I'm actually not the way I am on the court. It's only when we're in competition where that competitive nature in me is just it takes over, and
Yeah.
it's like I don't care who you are, I don't care what you think. I've been at this longer than you guys. I've earned more trophies than you guys before you even set foot on the court. I know what I'm doing. It's a proven formula. Just follow the blueprint and we'll win. And so the way I speak to my brothers is straight through it, man. We cut the crap. I don't sugarcoat nothing. I don't tell them, hey, you did well. Again, it goes back to me not believing in like sportsmanship trophies and stuff like that. Because look, the first trophy I ever accumulated was a sportsmanship trophy. Okay. We played in Augusta Macker 3-on-3. We didn't win. We were little. They gave us sportsmanship trophies because, hey, we were good sports, whatever.
Yeah,
That first trophy that I earned, man, was a constant reminder forever until this point still that that's a loser's trophy. That is a loser's mentality. That is a loser's trophy. If we got a sportsmanship trophy, yay, cool, whatever, man. But we didn't get first. What are we doing? Why are we playing? Why are we competing?
yeah,
Oh, we're not competing. That's why they gave us this, hey, good luck, try again next time trophy. So that trophy is like the most, like, that trophy means the most to me, even though it has no place value,
yeah, yeah,
because it's because that trophy that allowed me to see what I needed to do, how I needed to become in order to finally earn those dozens of first place trophies after that, man. And so, like, yeah, I mean, me talking to my brothers like that, it's just a our relationships are turbulent. We love each other, make no mistake.
well,
But the way we speak to each other, we're men, we're grown men, so we speak to each other in a more aggressive tone, a more vulgar tone, and so they know how I am. They know I love them, man. And so, like when I'm speaking to them, especially like in the heat of the moment, like they also understand that it's all about the moment.
yeah,
After that, man,
Yeah.
everything's on court. Like we're not even
absolutely,
worried about that.
absolutely. Leave everything on the court.
I, I
Yeah.
I would have to say that, like, I think between the three of us brothers, I think I might be the least like aggressive towards them. I would like to think so. I think that I think mainly most of my focus goes on to just performing because
I
I
think
can't
naturally
I
that happens because you're the most talented, and so you just have to perform on the floor.
but the thing is also, yeah, I agree. And the thing is, like, Winner has said one thing one time to me because I used to be aggressive towards my teammates, like, because I'd be like, why can't you do this? Why can't you do that? Like, do this. Well, Winner says something that really like hit, like gold with me when Winner was basically, I want to share it because I think that with, being a good leader, you have to understand that as Winner stated, he said, well, Power, you just can't expect others to do what you can do. So that really hit home with me. And I was like, you know what? I guess you're right. And then as I let that go, I learned to live with it and do better. And then I realized that there was change, and then it helped me and allowed me to be able to breathe and grow. But I mean, with all that being said, I want to be able to tell the youth or anybody who could use it is that always hold yourself to high expectations. I literally had very little sleep when I trained myself and practiced, waking up early, staying up late. I would tell my brother Leader when we were young, I was like, Leader, I'm gonna get my shot to this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this, and I followed up on it, and I would follow up on it because I knew that I had to just continue to do what I had to do in order to get to where I wanted to get. But again, it takes a lot of hard work and commitment and also passion. You have to have some kind of passion because if you don't have passion, if either you don't create it somehow or you're not compelled to the sport, uh, you're not going to have passion. You have to have some passion that's going to drive you, because if you're not, once your passion is dead, you die with it.
Right.
If you stop playing for such a long time, you can still have passion, but if you don't test it any longer, you're dead. Your love is dead.
Man,
So you have to have love,
Paul, you're
because
great,
that's
man.
exactly. I
You're
mean,
great,
I
man.
thank you,
You took my
but
question out of my mouth again, man. Like you're a mind reader or
damn,
something, man.
whiskey does whiskey does a lot, man.
We got a couple of seconds right before we go, man. One thing that you guys can really quick, one thing you guys can share to any younger generation who's really trying to get into the basketball, whether it's professionally, just trying to get to the next level, man. What's something really quick you guys can say to these younger generation today, like what they can do, or what is it they need to do to move on to the next level.
Yeah,
Uh,
man. Let me go first. I mean,
Uh-huh.
Power hit the nail on the head. I mean, like, it's just hard work. Like, you just gotta put in the work. Um,
Yeah.
you gotta have passion for it. I see a lot of athletes today in our community play 2 sports, 3 sports.
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah.
talented. But for us, we played one sport,
Mm-hmm.
and you gotta dominate at the one that you love. Like,
Yeah.
some dudes are more talented than I was, so they could do that. But for us, it was about one sport, focusing on that, one craft, and putting all our time and effort into that. And that's why we got the accolades that we have. You know, but yeah, I mean, some dudes are capable of running 2 sports, 3 sports, and
Yeah.
God bless those people. I
Absolutely.
wish I had that talent too, but yeah, man. Again, it's just hard work. You just got to put in the work. That's all.
Winner.
yeah, this goes not just with basketball, but anything else in life. Um, train not just with your peers. They only know as much as you do. They're only as good as you are. Train with people who's been there and done that. Like, I wouldn't go ask my single friend about marital advice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that just doesn't make any sense,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
like in the good book, man, iron sharpens iron, man. Like, find
Mhm.
people who's experienced, who's more knowledgeable than you, who's wise, and really, really soak in, and hopefully they take you under their wing, and then absorb all that. Some of us, we were fortunate. Shout out to like all my EQ brothers, older brothers out there, man, cool, and yeah, and all them guys, right? Like, they whooped our butts, but then when we weren't at the tournaments, they'd be at the same park we'd be at, and they would coach us.
Oh yeah.
And like, and it's really humbling because it's like, man, these guys kick our butts all the time, but here they are coaching us, right?
Yeah.
And then so from the opposite side as well, you also have to be humble enough to be like, you know what, I want to be coached by you, even though you're my rival, right? And a lot of our credit is due to them too, because they were able to do that, and they were willing to more or less, and then we were willing to also take up
Oh
on
yeah.
their advice. And if it wasn't for that, then we wouldn't be able to get better, right? And so like, if anybody wants to get better out there, man, like, you got to seek better. You can't just keep playing the same game day in
Yeah.
and day out with the same people day in and day out.
Yeah.
You guys might get a little better together, but you're not going to surpass anybody. Always be thinking, I'm trying to get better than everyone else on my team. I want to be as good as that guy on that level. And then after you get to that level, what's the next level up? You always got to be thinking 3 steps ahead of yourself. Like, how do I get there, right? And who do I need to seek out so that I can get there? Who's going to help me get there? And that's why I don't coach just anybody or mentor just anybody. I only mentor people who have the nerves and decency to come talk to me and ask me privately, like, hey, can you help me?
Yeah.
And then I coach them. But like, I don't have time to just coach anybody. Just because you're talented, I see potential in you doesn't mean it's going to work out. Because you probably don't want to do it to begin with, right? So
Yeah.
me coming to you is a waste of my time. But if you come to me, that shows something already right there, right? And so,
Yeah.
like, yeah, I mean, find people who are better and more experienced than you, man. That's really the way to go. Get
I mean,
coached.
yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
totally agree, man. I totally agree with everything that you guys say because we got a lot of young kids out here who do want to get better, but they have nobody to talk to or mentor, as you say, Winner. But you know, to all the young kids out there who are really serious about getting better at basketball, just like these three brothers are saying to you guys, man, it's all about the mentality. You know, you got to be willing to work for it. Like Leader stated, man, you got to be willing to work for it. And I hope that whoever you guys are watching this show, man, you guys you know, have a takeaway and you know, help better your game. And you know, even if you ain't playing basketball, this is also something that you can work on it for your own personal life, because you know, outside of basketball, outside of your sports, you know, you do have a personal life too, and you can always use this towards your life goals as well too. So before we take off, man, I really appreciate you brothers coming on my show, man. You know, this is a great way to kind of kick it off, man. I really appreciate it, man. And right before we head off, guys, man, is there anything that you guys like to say before we take off?
Stay true to yourself, man. Just expect greatness. Don't be afraid to catch it, and have the desire to win. Just find it. Find some self-help books, read, do some activities that you don't normally do. Branch out, because that's how you'll understand more of yourself. Because you're more than just what you think you are, you know.
Absolutely.
So it's the truth. But
Yeah,
you
I
are,
got
you are too, you know. So you are right if you think you're right. You're wrong if you think you're wrong.
I got a couple of things, man. Like what I always said to my brother, man. Like, we hold power to a high standard because we saw the potential he had. I mean, literally at 14, he was legit a phenom. Like he was just way ahead of his time at that age, and so we hold him to a high esteem and high standard because we expect him to play up to that because we've seen what he can do. And so, but the one thing that he always had a challenge with was believing that he was what we saw. And so here's the thing: seek mentorship. If you don't have mentorship, I promise you're not going nowhere. Secondly, if you don't believe in your own product, I promise you, no one else is. You got to be your number one fan. You got to be your number one supporter, and then you got to put in the work.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anything from you, Leader?
Amen.
Before
Nah, man. Thanks for having us on the show, man.
Hey,
Absolutely.
I appreciate it, guys, man. Right before we go right before we end the show, man.
Shout outs to Chang.
Oh hey,
Rebels.
yeah, there you go. Shout out to Chang and
Rebels,
man.
yeah.
Right before we take off, guys, man. NBA Finals prediction right now, winner.
So man,
I don't even watch NBA.
Let's go.
Bucks.
3.
I got the Bucks going back to back.
All right, Power.
Same. If they're healthy, Bucks.
What about you, Leader? Come on, you got to be the opposite,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Bucks and Golden State, but I'm taking Golden State.
That's
I'm not
my
mad
boy.
at that.
I'm taking Golden State myself for the finals.
Wow,
I
2v2.
got them winning.
Hey,
thing,
Wiggins
man.
is balling, man. So
Hey.
yeah, they look real good.
They're gonna do it, man.
They got Clay
Anyways,
back.
guys, man. Hey, thank you for coming on my show, guys, man. Big much love to my Yang brothers. Love you guys, man. Wish you guys nothing but the best. I hope that you guys have a great 2022 year. Stay healthy. Everybody who's watching this,
For sure, man.
I hope you guys got a takeaway. Please subscribe to me. Help me build my channel.
Hey, hit them up, y'all.
Share the video. And much love to you guys.
Much love and respect back,
time,
everybody listening.
stay tuned. Peace out.